One shocking question: when the bride stands alone at midnight, a cowboy's daughter says this. The clock ticked ominously as midnight loomed over the ranch. A chill wind whispered through the air, carrying secrets yet unsaid. In the moonlight, the gripping stillness was charged with tension, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. There she stood, the bride, clad in white satin, her gown shimmering like the surface of a disturbed lake. The scenes of the wedding played like a distant memory, laughter and music now turned to echoes that bounced off the barn walls, but all was silent now. What was she waiting for? This was no ordinary night. A lone figure appeared on the horizon, a cowboy, silhouetted against the moon. His hat cast a shadow that hid his eyes, but the way he moved spoke volumes. There was something uneasy about his stride, as if he trod on the fine line between hero and villain. He approached slowly, deliberately, his heart hammering in his chest, matching the pounding in the bride's ears. She felt a mix of fear and fascination, as if this stranger held the key to an eternal secret. Why had she come out here, alone? What lay beneath her calm facade? As the cowboy closed the distance, a shiver ran down her spine, not from the cold, but from the raw energy that pulsed between them. It crackled like electricity, a palpable connection that neither could ignore. Suddenly, an owl hooted in the distance, shattering the silence like a glass breaking. The effect was immediate. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her. Was this fate? Or something darker? Just then, he stopped, a dozen steps away. The air between them thickened, charged with unspoken words. "Why are you here, alone at midnight?" he asked, voice low and steady, yet filled with an unshakable urgency. She opened her mouth to speak, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, an unexpected truth clawed its way from her insides, a truth that could ignite a prairie fire in their hearts. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect." Back in the moment, she glanced at his weathered face, searching for signs of danger. "It's about to change everything," she finally whispered, the words stirring in the air like a storm, heavy and electric. What did she mean? Her heart raced, a drum echoing in the stillness. The cowboy tilted his head, confusion and curiosity mingling in his gaze. She took a step closer, the weight of her secret pressing down on her chest. Suddenly, she felt alive with the fear of what might come next. As the full moon cast silver shadows on the ground, she drew a deep breath, feeling the fight or flight instinct kick in. Would she dare to reveal the truth? Or would the midnight silence swallow her whole, leaving her forever burdened by the choice she'd made? The stars twinkled above, witnessing every moment, each heartbeat a reminder that destiny had arrived. The bride knew she had but seconds to decide. What would she choose? The moon hung high, casting an eerie glow across the desolate landscape as the bride took a trembling breath. Her heart raced, pummeling against her ribcage like a desperate beast seeking escape. The weight of secrets threatened to crush her, but there was something in the cowboy's piercing gaze that urged her to speak. "It's about who I really am," she finally managed, her voice barely a whisper, drenched in uncertainty. The words hung in the air, thick with impending revelation. She felt the moment fracture around them, the world narrowing to just the two of them, defined by this single breath. "What do you mean?" he pressed, inching closer, drawn by her vulnerability like a moth to flame. The silver light danced between them, wrapping their shadows together in an intimate embrace. With every heartbeat, her resolve weakened. The truth clawed at her insides, daring her to unleash it. "I can't marry him," she blurted out, the words cascading from her lips like a dam bursting. "I'm not who he thinks I am." The cowboy's brow furrowed, his body tensing as his instincts kicked in. What are you talking about? She took a shaky step closer, the air heavy with danger and desire. I'm not just a bride standing under that arch, waiting for happily ever after. I'm the product of a past filled with betrayal, stolen innocence. She hesitated, swallowing hard. I was running from that life and now it's catching up with me. His strong jaw set, a flicker of understanding flashing through his eyes. You're afraid of what's behind you? Yes. Her breath hitched as fear wrapped around her throat. And I thought I could escape it by settling down, but I'm suffocating. I can't live a lie anymore. A cold gust swept through them, setting her gown fluttering like a wounded bird. In that breathless moment, their worlds collided. The cowboy took a half step back, shock mingling with something darker. So what are you saying? You're just going to run away again? It's not like that. She began, desperation creeping into her tone. I can't just leave him, but staying will destroy me. Suddenly, an unsettling sound echoed in the distance, a rattling noise, breaking their intense connection. The moment splintered. The cowboy's alert stance froze, muscles coiling like a gun ready to fire. His eyes scanned the darkness beyond the glow of the barn. What was that? She asked, the chill of fear racing back up her spine. That a shadowy figure emerged from the barn, a silhouette that sent fear shooting through her. You're not alone anymore, sweetheart, a gruff voice called from the darkness, filled with malice and familiarity. The cowboy stepped protectively in front of her, tense and fierce. Get back. He warned, his posture shifting like a predator ready to defend its prey. Her heart sank, recognition flooding her like ice water. No, please, don't. She gasped, fear lacing her words. Let us see what you've been hiding then, the voice taunted, sending a wave of dread crashing over her. The air thickened, her pulse quickening. She had unleashed a truth that entwined with a danger she could never have anticipated. What had she awakened? The cowboy turned, his fierce gaze flickering back to her. We have to figure this out now. But outside the flickering beam of moonlight, danger loomed large. Did she have the strength to face it? How would her truth collide with everything she had tried to escape? The silence held, pregnant with uncertainty. Would she step into the fray, or would the shadows claim her? The tension thickened, a single question echoing in the night: could love survive the dark truths waiting to be revealed? The figure from the barn stepped forward, revealing a face twisted with a confidence born from years of cruelty. Her heart raced anew, echoing the fear pulsating in the air. It's been a long time, hasn't he it, Iris? He sneered, his voice dripping with familiarity. I can't, she stammered, ice gripping her throat. You shouldn't be here. The cowboy's stance hardened. Who the hell are you? His eyes narrowed, assessing the threat. Just a friend from her past, the stranger replied, a smirk curling across his lips. He shifted closer, the moonlight casting shadows that danced ominously around him. And a reminder of what she's running from. No. She shouted, desperation clawing at her insides. I'm not running. I wanted to stop. Stop. He laughed, a sound filled with malice that sent shivers down her spine. You think you can leave it all behind? That life, that darkness, it doesn't let go so easily, sweetheart. The cowboy stepped in closer to her, fierce and protective. Whatever this is, you need to back off. But the stranger only scoffed. You're playing with fire, cowboy. She's not who you think she is. Iris felt her heart drop. Hidden truths loomed like specters waiting to tear apart her fragile reality. Stop. You don't understand. She gazed into the cowboy's eyes, pleading for him to trust her. Trust? The stranger stepped dangerously close, invading her space. You can trust that the past is about to get very loud. You think you're just here to hide? No. This is the moment it all comes crashing down. Leave her alone. The cowboy growled, fists clenched. Tension crackled in the air as if it could spark into chaos at any moment. Why? So she can marry some fairy tale? The man turned his gaze toward the moon, masking his amusement with mock contemplation. What fun would that be? This isn't a story with happy endings, darling. Shaking, Iris stepped forward, her voice a whisper. Please, you don't have to do this. The man's laughter echoed through the night. Oh, but I do. Suddenly, the night seemed to shift. A distant sound, soft yet urgent, broke through the tension, a low rumble, like a storm brewing on the horizon. Something wicked was approaching, and it felt as if the very ground beneath them understood the threat. Iris, the cowboy said, his voice laced with urgency. What is he talking about? What truth are we missing? I can't, she began, but the bright light of her swirling uncertainty clashed against her need for clarity. Everything hung in the balance. Tell him, the man said, unyielding as he crossed his arms. Tell him about the life you left behind. Tell him why the shadows are coming for you. Panic surged through her. Could she reveal it all? Would it truly bind her fate to this cowboy, or send him running to escape the truth that could shatter them both? As uncertainty clawed at her sanity, she felt the weight of impending doom. Knowing that whatever choice she made could either save them or doom them to the darkness, the ground vibrated underfoot, the storm was closer now, and so were the consequences. Answer him. The cowboy urged, his fierce gaze never leaving hers. Would she unlock the door to her past, one that could unleash chaos upon them, or would she choose silence, a temporary reprieve for the imminent storm? She had to decide in this instant, the thunder rolling nearer, drowning the world in anticipation. What was she willing to risk to protect the one person who might stand by her when the storm finally broke? Iris felt the frigid grip of fear tightening around her chest, squeezing out her breath. The air was electric, pulled taut with a tension that threatened to snap at any moment. The cowboy's sharp gaze flickered back and forth between her and the stranger, confusion deepening the crease of his brow. Just tell me the truth, Iris. He demanded, desperation mingling with frustration. Is this guy right? What kind of past is he talking about? The words hung in the air like smoke, and with each passing second, the walls of her carefully constructed facade began to crumble. Telling him would be a betrayal, a revelation that could change the course of everything. But the stranger was relentless, stepping forward, an unyielding storm cloud of malice hovering just above. Go ahead, sweetheart, tell your cowboy the truth, the man jeered, his voice smooth but sharp as a dagger. It's what he deserves. Truth has a way of setting someone free, doesn't he? What do you want from me? She cried, her own voice trembling as she searched for answers within herself. The shadows danced in the moonlight, and the ground beneath her seemed to echo her internal struggle. I'm not that person anymore. Ah, but you're still running, aren't you? The stranger taunted, leaning closer, invading her space until she could feel his cold breath on her neck. You can't run from a truth that lives in your bones. The urgency pulsed in the air, a visceral warning. The wind picked up, carrying a rustle of leaves that felt alive, a chorus of nature heralding the storm. Iris, I need you to trust me. Whatever it is, we can face it together, the cowboy said, his voice a lifeline in a sea of uncertainty. For a moment, the weight of his belief steadied her. But the stranger chuckled, a cruel sound that shattered her moment of clarity. Together? This is a woman who has walked through hell and back. There's no together in her past. It's just her, alone in the darkness. No one breathed. The world seemed to still. Iris's heart hammered in her chest, the dread swirling into an icy knot as realization washed over her like a wave. She sensed the truth lurking just behind the threshold of revelation, waiting to spill out. The cowboy leaned forward, eyes searching her face for the answers he desperately needed. Iris, he whispered, a plea wrapped in vulnerability. Please say something. The echo of thunder echoed in the distance, a reminder of the storm edging ever closer, and her mind raced, scrambling to find the words that would break the silence. But as she opened her mouth, the truth felt like poisoned honey on her tongue, bitter and suffocating. She started, but the words clung to her throat, choking her. The shadows around began to congeal, almost breathing with anticipation. Suddenly, a piercing scream sliced through the night, jarring her from her thoughts. A figure appeared on the horizon, illuminated by the flickering light of the moon. It moved with speed, draped in darkness, a new terror heralding the arrival of whatever was lurking in wait. "See." The stranger grinned, his eyes glinting with twisted pleasure. "Let the past come crashing in." Panic ignited in her chest, blazing against the cold numbness of dread. "What have you done?" she yelled at the stranger, her heart racing as the new figure drew closer. "Let us find out together," he replied, a wicked smile spreading across his face. As the darkness approached and carried a new threat, Iris saw it was time to decide: could she face the demons of her past, or would it swallow them all whole? The storm unleashed its fury, but Iris could barely think through the chaos. What had she been hiding all along? And how far would she go to protect her secrets from being exposed? As the shadows loomed, she sensed the truth was about to be unearthed, igniting fears that could change everything forever. What awaited them was beyond anything she had ever faced before, and she had to ask herself, was she ready to confront her legacy? The thunder cracked louder, a warning shot across the sky as the figure advanced, each stride echoing through Iris's bones. Heart racing, she struggled to gather her thoughts, but the shadows felt like a suffocating veil. Was this the person her past sent to retrieve her? The figure emerged from the darkness, taller than she remembered, a face obscured by the falling droplets of rain. Who are you?" the cowboy stammered, instinctively stepping in front of Iris, his body taut with anticipation and protectiveness. "Nobody of significance," the figure said, their voice a cold, biting whisper that sent shivers down Iris's spine. "But I'm here for you, Iris. It's time to face what you've been hiding." Panic surged again. She wanted to cry out, to retreat deeper into the safety of the night, but the rain pelted her like sharpened stones, grounding her in the stark reality of the situation. The stranger behind her could see it unfolding, a malicious glee bubbling in the depths of his eyes as if he was savoring every moment of her torment. "See? She's just as predictable as I told you," he taunted, leaning casually against the truck, relishing the chaos like a feast. "Your past will always find you, sweetheart." The newcomer stepped into the pale light, revealing a face that sent a sliver of familiarity coursing through Iris. A rush of memories flickered before her like a film, and she wrestled to place them, heart-hammering. Was this the friend, the ally she once knew? "Iris," the figure said softly, their eyes narrowing with a mixture of sorrow and determination. "You don't have to run anymore. This game you're playing, it's going to cost you everything." "No!" she shouted, the word ripped from her throat like a desperate plea. "I'm not running. I'm not that person." But even as she said this, doubt twisted in her gut. The tension crackled in the air, heavy and electric, just like before a storm breaks. The cowboy remained tense, sensing the shifting dynamics, trying to peer into the threadbare layers of her past. The fear in his eyes only deepened her internal conflict. She felt cornered, trapped between what she had created in her new life and the haunting silhouettes of who she was. "Why now?" Iris demanded, voice trembling. "Why come back to haunt me now when I've worked so hard to bury what I used to be?" "Because your buried secrets are like weeds, Iris. They grow back, uninvited, unless you deal with them," the figure replied, each word laced with chilling finality. "And you're not alone in this darkness. Your truth is wrapped around another soul." The cowboy's brow furrowed at the revelation. "What's that supposed to mean?" he said, casting worried glances between Iris and the stranger. The hidden contours of Iris's past began to surface within her mind: betrayal, danger, pain. It was all linked intricately with moments shared with people she thought had slipped away forever. It felt almost like a cruel joke, but the haunting intensity of the night told her it was far from one. "Tell him, Iris," the newcomer urged, a fire igniting in their gaze. "This isn't just about you anymore. It's about everything you're trying to keep from crumbling." Iris could feel the ground shifting beneath her, the soul-deep longing to silence her past thrumming inside her. Every fiber in her urged her to break free from the weight of her secrets, but the fear of what revealing them would mean was paralyzing. "A storm is coming, Iris," the stranger said ominously. "And trust me, you'll need someone to fight beside you when it hits." With the wind whipping around them, raindrops stinging her skin, Iris felt the heavy weight of her past closing in, thick and suffocating. She stood at the precipice of revelation, and as thunder rumbled overhead, she could only wonder what destruction would come crashing, much like the emotional storm swirling within her. Could she trust the cowboy enough to reveal everything? Or would her world shatter under the pressure of the truth? The night had never felt darker, and yet, she sensed something was shifting in the air, both fear and opportunity. Entwined, waiting for her choice, what would she decide to reveal before the dawn broke? The rain fell harder now, a relentless curtain blurring the figures in the night. Iris felt the weight of the moment press down on her. She had been teetering on the edge, and she could almost hear the clock ticking, counting down the last precious seconds before the truth could break free. "Iris, please," the stranger said, desperation bleeding into their tone. "Time doesn't wait for you. The truth won't wait. You'll lose everything if you don't speak now." The cowboy shifted beside her, confusion mixing with determination. "What are you hiding, Iris? The way he talks, it's like I'm missing pieces of a puzzle, pieces that you've kept buried." His concern ignited the fighting spirit in Iris, but it didn't quell the chaos swirling within her. She knew she needed to protect him, to spare him the pain that would follow when the real story came crashing in. "You don't know what you're asking for," she shouted, her voice breaking against the thundering sky. "Then stop playing this charade," the stranger urged, stepping closer. The rain dripped off the brim of their hat, forming puddles on the ground that mirrored her turmoil. "Your silence is a shackle. Break free." The cowboy's eyes darted between them, the tension gripping him tighter. "Iris, what is going on? Who is this person? What do they mean by your truth?" Tears blended with rain as she grappled with the dilemma that had haunted her for so long. Was she strong enough to let the world see the truth? Would it destroy the safety she had built? The weight of her secrets loomed like the storm clouds above, threatening to break and flood everything she cherished. "I can't," she whispered, the words heavy on her tongue. "You don't understand what they want. What I've done. They want you to be free." The figure's voice cracked like lightning, illuminating the dark emotions hovering around them. "You've been running, Iris. Running from your pain and the person you truly are." With every passing moment, Iris felt the cracks in her wall deepen. She could feel the implications of her choice. The cowboy was more than just a casual acquaintance, he was the first person who made her believe she could outrun her past. But now, a terrifying storm was ripping through her heart, exposing shadows she wanted to keep locked away. "Just because I was lost doesn't mean I'm lost now," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "I've changed." Changed? Or just pushed it deeper? The stranger's tone had morphed into a sharp indictment, stirring anger and questions to the surface. The cowboy's expression shifted, bewilderment slowly morphing into something harder: hurt. "Iris, you can't keep running from this. It's going to destroy you." The weight of it all bore down on her. She looked up at the sky, feeling the storm reflect her inner turmoil. Could she trust him? Would he stay by her side when the truth emerged? Raw and jagged, thunder clapped overhead, reverberating through her like a because of forgotten echoes. Her heart raced, pounding to the cadence of her uncertainty. "Please, just give me a moment," she choked out. The figure leaned in, urging her with an intensity that cut through the air. "A moment is all you have left, Iris. If you don't speak, your fears will drown you. Choices define who we are. Choose courage, for once." And with that, as the shadows wrapped tighter around her, Iris began to understand the true essence of freedom. It wasn't about running away. It was about facing the person she had tried to bury. "Maybe," she started, the words trembling from her lips. Maybe I can't keep running, maybe it is time to tell the truth even if it shatters everything. As the rain thundered and the storm raged, the world around her dimmed. If she began to reveal her secrets, would the cowboy stand firm, or would he recoil from the fragments of her broken self? Iris braced herself for what she was about to face, but the shadow still loomed larger than her fears. Would her revelation bring freedom or despair? Could there truly be a path to redemption, or was she just standing on the edge of her own devastation? The thunder roared louder, drowned out only by the pulse of Iris's heartbeat. She felt small beneath the storm, her vulnerability laid bare under the relentless downpour. It was as if the heavens themselves were set against her, urging her to confront the chaos of her life. "Speak, Iris," the stranger said, their voice cutting through the torrential noise. "Don't you see? You're not alone in this anymore. You never were." The cowboy shifted closer, his brow furrowed with concern, as though he could physically shield her from the maelstrom. "What do you mean by freedom?" he asked, searching her face for answers. "Tell us. We'll stand with you." Could she really shatter the walls she had built with years of silence? The shadows of her past loomed ominously, threatening to swallow her whole. The adrenaline thrummed in her veins as the weight of his gaze felt like a lifeline and a noose at the same time. She hesitated, her voice barely audible above the storm. "It's about that night. The night everything changed." "Start there," the stranger urged. "You'll find your strength in the truth. That's where it always begins." The rain mercilessly pelted them, yet Iris felt warmth bloom amidst the cold. The truth could hurt. It could decimate the fragile reality she clung to. But could it also heal? What if it destroys everything? She whispered, her eyes darting between the two of them, the weight of her fear palpable in the charged air. "Sometimes what you cling to needs to be destroyed," the stranger replied, their voice gentle yet firm. "You can't grow without breaking free from the past." The cowboy reached out, placing a steady hand on her shoulder, grounding her. "Iris, whatever it is, we can face it together. I'm not afraid of your truth." The simple sincerity of his words cracked her resolve. She took a deep breath, each inhale as sharp as a knife, ready to cut through the fog of her memories. The tension held on for dear life, waiting for her next words like coiled springs. "It was a party," she finally said, her voice trembling. "That night I thought it was just a fun night out. I didn't know. I had no idea." And then the world around her faded as vivid recollections flooded back, laughter, echoes of music, the brightness of the lights that felt false now. Names, faces swirled in her mind like ghosts. A chill crawled up her spine. I was so naive. I didn't see what was happening until it was too late." The cowboy's jaw tightened, understanding dawning in his hazel eyes. "Naive or not, that doesn't make it your fault," he interjected fiercely, as if to shield her from guilt, but the stranger was unwavering. "It's time, Iris. Let it all out. The lies can't protect you anymore." The storm raged on, but within its cacophony, she found her voice a trembling, raw thing but one forged in pain. "I made choices that affected others," she said quickly, fear and shame surging. "I thought I was in control, but I was just a pawn in someone else's game. And when it ended, I didn't know how to deal with the fallout. I ran." "Running doesn't erase what happened," the stranger said softly, bridging the gap between her past and present. "It's going to keep haunting you. Allowing it to take you down is not an option anymore." "I didn't want you to know," she confessed, tears blending with rain, her throat tight with emotion. "I thought if I hid it well enough, it would disappear." The cowboy stared at her intently, emotions churning in the depths of his eyes. "Iris, I wish I could take away your pain. Just tell me what you need." In that moment, with the rain battering down like 1,000 whispers of the past, she felt her truth ready to burst forth from her chest. Could this raw honesty offer her the freedom that had evaded her for so long? "I wasn't the only one hurt," she breathed, each word like a jagged piece of glass. I was involved in something dark. Something that could very well put us all in danger if it comes out. Silence enveloped them, heavy and full, and the heaviness of her admission hung in the air like a storm cloud poised to break. What do you mean? The cowboy stepped closer, urgency coloring his voice. What are you saying? As lightning flashed, illuminating the worry in his face, Iris took one stealing breath, ready to spill everything. But before she could utter another word, a distant sound interrupted a faint crackling, growing incessantly louder. The sound pulled away the fog of tension. It rolled up from the horizon like a predator seeking its prey. Something was coming, and as panic fluttered in her chest, she realized, their problems were the least of her concerns now. What if the past wasn't done with her yet? What if they weren't safe? Behind her, shadows began to shift and dissolve, drawing her into the unknown. The crackling grew louder, snapping through the tension like a whip. Iris felt it in her bones, a dreadful omen creeping closer. What is that? She gasped, her heart racing as the air thickened with uncertainty. The cowboy turned, his expression shifting from concern to alarm. Stay close. He barked, instinctively pulling Iris nearer, as if they could shield one another from whatever horror was about to emerge from the shadows. The stranger, a stark contrast with an icy composure, scanned the horizon. It's not just the rain that's coming, they murmured, a shadow crossing their features. We have to be ready. Rain continued to lash down mercilessly, yet it was the encroaching darkness that chilled Iris to the core. She could almost taste the fear hanging in the air, a sickly sweet tang on her tongue. Panic clawed at her insides. What did I bring upon us? We'll figure this out, the cowboy replied, his voice steady but eyes betraying his worry. But you need to tell us everything right now. Whatever happened that night, it's crucial. Yes, the stranger added, urgency seeping into their voice. Whatever darkness you were part of is rushing towards us. We can't face it without the truth. Lightning split the sky again, illuminating their surroundings, and for a brief moment, she could see it clearly. The tree lean just beyond them began to move, branches swaying and cracking as if something beyond was pushing through. Her heart raced. I was just a kid. I thought I was in control, but I didn't know who I was dealing with. That night, people wanted things. Dangerous things. What kind of things? The cowboy pressed, his tone a mix of gentle concern and steely resolve. You must be specific. She shivered, almost regretting her choice to spill the fragments of her past. I was drawn in by this person, a string of lies and promises. They had power, and I wanted to be part of that world. But it spiraled into chaos. Someone got hurt. A life was lost because of my choices. Fear gripped her throat as she recalled the night of the party, the faces twisted in fear, the blood that stained the grass. I never meant for anyone to get hurt. Iris, listen to me. The cowboy's hands tightened on her shoulders. You can't shoulder this alone. We're together in this. The shadows around them thickened, almost alive, creeping ever closer as Iris felt a sense of urgency rise in her. I thought it was all over, she admitted, voice trembling. But the truth, it won't let me go. The stranger's brow furrowed. We need to prepare. If the past is coming, it means someone wants you to pay for what happened. Lightning flashed once more, and with it came the unmistakable sound of footsteps, a quick march through the wet earth, aggressive and relentless. Stay hidden. The cowboy commanded, his voice low and firm, while instinctively pulling Iris behind him, as if he could block whatever was coming. But the figure that emerged was not what they expected. It wasn't just anyone, it was a face from her past, one she thought she'd buried. Surprise, Iris, the intruder called, voice dripping with malevolence. You didn't think you could escape that easily, did you? Iris felt the ground beneath her quake, the realization crashing into her like the storm itself. Was this person here to finish what they started? What would she do now? She had no escape plan, and the truth hung in the cold air like a guillotine. Run, she whispered to the cowboy, a chilling dread coursing through her veins. Please, you have to run before they get to you too. But deep down, a part of her knew running wasn't an option anymore. Turning back wasn't an option either. As the figure stepped closer, each step drumming a warning in her ears, Iris wondered if this was the moment she would finally have to face the consequences of her truth. What if the truth was the only way to take down the darkness creeping in? And could she muster the strength to fight? The night felt alive, the storm curling around them like a predator stalking its prey. As the figures stepped into the open, they became clearer amidst the flashes of lightning, a familiar face shadowed by years of betrayal and pain. Evan, Iris whispered, her breath catching in her throat. Memories surged, relentless and raw. The laughter, the secrets, they now felt like chains. It was him, the one who had lured her down that dark path. Did you really think you could just forget? Evan sneered, eyes gleaming like shards of ice. You thought you could hide from me forever? The cowboy-esque grip on Iris tightened, but she could see the tension in his shoulders, a duality of anger and protectiveness reflected in his stare. He was prepared to fight, but the choice fell heavy on Iris. She could either allow the darkness of the past to swallow her whole or find a way to confront it. What do you want? She tried to sound brave, but her voice trembled like the leaves in the wind. The storm roared louder, fueling her panic. Simple, Evan replied smoothly, stepping closer, each movement deliberate. I want what you owe. You think you can just walk away? There's a debt to be paid. Iris's heart raced. She thought she had left him behind, thought she had escaped the chaos he brought into her life. I told you, I was just a kid. You played me. He chuckled darkly. Kids don't have the power to invoke shadows, Iris. You opened the door. Now it's time to face what's on the other side. The air thickened with an impending confrontation. The cowboy moved slightly, positioning himself in front of Iris, his body poised like a shield against the haunting figure. I'm not letting you take her, he said, his voice deep and steady as thunder. Whatever games you're playing end here. Evan's expression morphed into something darker, more sinister. You think you can protect her? You have no idea what forces you're dealing with. Uncertainty gripped Iris. She felt the weight of the cowboy's courage behind her, but the shadows lingered, taunting her. What had she truly unleashed that night? As if understanding her turmoil, the stranger shifted, their gaze now penetrating. What did you do, Iris? What really happened that night? Iris hesitated. Could she trust them? A part of her wanted to keep the past buried, but Evan's piercing stare bore into her, compelling her to recount her truth, to unveil the horror she had hidden away for far too long. She faltered, internal battles raging. I didn't know what I was doing. It started as a game, wanting to fit in. But it spiraled. We summoned something we couldn't control. Her heart pounded, echoing the relentless storm around them. Each word felt like an electric current, both freeing and shackling. Evan leaned closer, the challenge in his voice unmistakable. And you thought you could erase that? You can't escape your part in the chaos. The storm is just a warning of what's to come. But she refused to be paralyzed by fear. Her voice grew stronger. No. I can't keep letting you control me. I'm more than the choices I made back then. In a moment that felt suspended in time, a crack of lightning illuminated the darkness, revealing not just Evan, but shapes moving behind him, the shadows she had once conjured. Unspeakable forms, twisted and hungry, edged closer, spurred on by her confession, as if the storm beckoned them forth. The cowboy glanced over his shoulder, his resolve hardening as he turned toward her. Whatever happens, we face it together. With a surge of determination, Iris met Evan's gaze, her heart racing but steady. No more running. If you want a reckoning, you'll get it. As the shadows swirled with malicious intent and the rain pelting down, she steeled herself, ready to confront the demons she had kept hidden for so long. But as she stepped forward, something in the woodland stirred, and an eerie whisper chased through the wind, sending a chill deep into her bones. "Time to play," a voice echoed, chillier than the storm itself. Was this the storm's true purpose, or merely the beginning? The wind howled as the storm's fury clashed violently with Iris' resolve. The shadows shifted closer, drawn to the turmoil that was about to unfold. But there, with the cowboy shielding her, something inside her ignited a spark, fueled not by fear, but by courage she never knew she possessed. "I'm done being afraid," she declared, voice steady despite the chaos swirling around them. The storm raged on, but she felt an undercurrent of strength surge through her. This was it, facing what she had avoided for far too long. Evan smirked, as if relishing in the anticipation. "You think standing up to me will change anything?" He scoffed, stepping forward, but the cowboy's imposing frame held firm against him. "She doesn't owe you anything," he growled, eyes blazing with an intensity that sent shockwaves of solidarity through Iris. "I do," Iris replied, surprising herself. "I owe it to myself to confront my past, no more running. I'm ready to face the shadows and take responsibility for what I've done." Her heart raced, each word fueling the fire of determination within her. The shadows hissed, swirling around her like dark water ready to swallow her whole. "You'll regret this," Evan warned, cool arrogance underscoring his words. "You don't know what you're up against." "Yes, I do," she pushed back, feeling the words spill out like freedom. "You think you can control me through fear? But you're wrong. You don't define who I am." The flames of her truth blazed bright, illuminating the dark corners of her heart she had kept hidden. The cowboy stood tall, unwavering, a fierce protector against everything that loomed ahead. "We're not alone in this fight," he echoed, his voice a rallying call. "Whatever darkness is coming, we'll face it together." The power of their connection pulsed, creating an unseen barrier between them and the encroaching shadows, intensifying the moment that as lightning cracked above. The figures from the dark began to lose their shape, revealing themselves as manifestations of Iris' regrets, her fears, her mistakes, her guilt. "Face us if you dare," they hissed, swirling like a tempest, seeking to erase her newfound strength. "I will face you," Iris shouted. "You're not my masters anymore. I let you dictate my life for too long, but not anymore. You are just shadows, nothing more." In that instant, the storm responded to her defiance, roaring louder than ever. The winds whipped violently, uprooting the shadows as if they recognized their fleeting hold over her. She felt the truth vibrating at her core, a raw power awakening as she confronted the remnants of her past. The storm and the darkness writhed, battling her resolve, yet she stood firm, with the cowboy beside her. Iris felt the shackles breaking. "Stand with me," she cried, reaching out her hand to the cowboy, who clasped it tightly, fierce and unwavering. Together, they formed an unbreakable alliance against all that sought to drown her. The shadows roared and screeched, fighting back with anger. "You think you can sever the ties we share?" Evan shouted, desperate to maintain his hold. "I'm not severing ties. I'm transforming them," Iris proclaimed. "I refuse to let the past dictate my future." And with one final surge of energy, she pushed back, drawing strength from the love that surrounded her, the cowboy right beside her, unyielding in his support. With a deafening crack of thunder, the shadows began to dissipate, swirling away like mist caught in the wind. Iris felt the heat of her past retreating, leaving space for something new, the possibility of redemption after confronting her legacy. Together, the cowboy murmured, gaze locked on hers, eyes radiating warmth and strength. "Yes, together," Iris replied, her heart fluttering with exhilaration as fresh rain washed away the remnants of fear. She turned to face Evan, power and clarity shining through her. "You can't own me anymore." The last sparks of the shadows flickered out as dawn began to break, sunlight breaking through, illuminating the entwined figures of Iris and the cowboy. The storm finally began to calm, transitioning into a gentle rain, washing away the remnants of their struggles, giving rise to a world filled with hope. Iris felt the burden of her past lift. She had declared her truth, faced her demons, and emerged stronger than ever. Taking a deep breath, she felt the weight of her new beginning settle in. "Thank you for standing by me," she said, glancing at the cowboy, her heart swelling with gratitude. He smiled back, eyes glinting with unwavering support. "Always." As they walked hand in hand into the dawn, Iris knew she was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, freed from the shadows of her past. She had chosen to face her truth, and in doing so, had found the strength to reclaim her life. Take this moment to stand proud. And now it's your turn. You need to subscribe now to not miss any of our incredible stories coming your way. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm, let them know this story needs to be seen. Flood the comments with your reactions and theories, we can't wait to read what you think about this finale. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need this conclusion. Your support is vital, show that you're a true fan.